Hey everyone, this is alexusadays, and we're continuing locating web elements for automation using XPath, CSS, and Playwright. Okay, so today we're going to talk about CSS Selectors. It is module 4. Once we're done with CSS Selectors, we're going to move to XPath Selectors. Now, what are CSS Selectors? So CSS Selector is a pattern used to select and style specific elements in an HTML. It is most commonly used to apply styles like color, fonts, layouts to web elements. So CSS is used by web developers essentially to style your pages. But additionally, CSS selectors are widely used in web automation frameworks like Selenium, Playwright, and Cypress to locate and interact with web elements for automated testing. We're going to go through the most common used CSS selectors in automation, first in the slides and then with the examples on the page. So one of the most robust ways of selecting something is by using unique ID, right? So here, in an example, we're going to select the username input field by the ID. All you need to do is to provide hashtag and then the ID value, username. You can also select by combination of a tag, attribute name, and attribute value. Here, for example, we have tag input, and then within the square brackets, we have attribute name that has value password. You can also select by a specific class name. This is not recommended because there are classes that will apply to multiple elements, so you might find a list of different elements when you search by a class, but if the class is unique for a specific element, you can use it. In our example, that will be dot radius. So dot just precedes the class name, and then you provide whatever the class name is you want to select. Then you can also use start with, and you can select an input field where the ID starts with user, and for that you want to use like this little hat symbol. So we have input, again tag, then we have ID, which is attribute name, and then a little hat after it, then equals user. So it will grab anything that starts, any attribute name within the ID that starts with user. We can also select by using end with, and you can do here, we can select an input field where the ID ends with name. So we do input in the square brackets ID $ equals name. So if the ID ends with name, it will grab it. We can also use contains, and it will select an input field where the ID contains a value user. So example is input, and in the square brackets ID and asterisk, or like a little star symbol, equals user. We can also do selecting a specific sibling element. So if there are multiple elements within one tag, within one div, it can't be in different blocks. They have to be siblings, so they have to be next to one another. You can specify by using nth of type and then say either 1 or 2 to grab one of those. And I'll show you in the web page how it looks like. And you can also select by index in the whole DOM. So for that, you will have to return a list of elements. So let's say we have multiple IDs coming back, or which is unlikely, but it can happen. Or let's say we have multiple tags coming back, or multiple attributes with values that are matching. Then you can actually apply a specific index after getting the list back. So this is essentially a combination of CSS and a little bit of JavaScript here. And when you use CSS selectors in Playwright, it will look something like this. You'll have your selector method, so await page.locator, and then within the locator itself, you will just provide your selector. So in our case, input, in the square brackets, name is equal to password. And then here we also have method click, so it will go and click into that field, right? You can have more details and see in the Playwright documentation, but we're also going to have some additional Playwright material when selecting elements using Playwright. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at all this in the actual web page. Okay, so here we are at the internetherokuapp.com login. Let's do right-click inspect, and here we have our DevTools open with all the elements. So you can use either this console, or if you want to see the elements also getting highlighted inside here, in the DOM, you can use console at the bottom. So let's start with the first one. So let's do $, then we will do parentheses and double quotes. Okay, so that's how we start our search, and here let's search by ID. So to search by ID, we do the hashtag and then the ID value. So hashtag username, hit enter, and you can see there's something comes back when you do that. Let's expand it. You can see there's only one element, starts with 0, there's no other. If you hover over it, it will show you on the page where it is. If you click on it, it will also open it here in the elements. And you can see there is ID username right here. So we grab that element. For example, I also know that there's a password field, right? If we right click and inspect it here, it will go into the password field in the DOM. And let's do, instead of hashtag username, let's do hashtag password. Password. Hit enter, and you can see it's coming back and it's getting selected, right? So this is by ID. So essentially just the hashtag and the ID value. All right. The next one, let's do combination of attribute value by tag, attribute name, and attribute value. So for this, let's do, again, $, and here in double quotes, we'll do, so let's do the tag first. So input, and it starts suggesting us, okay, I actually see two of them. Now we need to clarify. In the square brackets, you want to provide the attribute name. So that will be a name, right? So let's say I want to grab by the username. So name equals username. Name, and then equals, in single quotes, username. You want to provide the attribute value. Why you want to have it in the single quotes? Well, if you use double quotes and you use them outside already, it's going to cut your string short right here. So you have to use different quotations inside the element when you're selecting it. So if you open and close with double quotes, any other text that you select inside should be in single quotes. Okay, so now let's do by another attribute name, but instead of name here, let's do tag button. So button, this is the one here. So I know it's a button. What can we use here? So instead of name, we have a type. So we can just use type. So attribute name is type, and attribute value is submit. So let's hit enter, and here it comes back. You can also notice when it came back, something got highlighted. It says button.radius. So .radius is the class name, and it seems like this class is unique. So let's try and select by the class name only. So here we're gonna do .radius. Hit enter, and yes, it actually does come back. So it's a unique class just for that button. But be careful with classes. So you can see it's right here, radius. Let's say there's a class role, for example. What will happen if I'll try and grab that? So I say .role to grab by class. And now I have like 5 different values come back, right? So you don't want to have multiple values come back unless you're exactly sure where the value is going to be and you know it's going to stay there, right? Then you use JavaScript and you use index. So for example, grab the first one, right? Something like that. But this is very fragile, right? So make sure if you do have a list that comes back or like an array, you know that it's going to be static, things not going to change if you grab a specific index from that array. Okay. All right, let's clear out the console. Okay, so let's do now when we have attribute value starting with something, right? So let's do input and then ID, a little hat symbol, equals, and in single quotes, we'll say user. And let's close our square bracket right here. Okay, so even though we provide only user, we did get the username back. Why? Well, because username starts with user, right? If I remove this little hat symbol and run it, you see it doesn't find anything because it looks for exact match. But if we have this little hat symbol, that means starts with whatever you provide here, and it does start with user. So that's why we got it back. The other one is ends with a specific value. So instead of little hat, we're going to put a $sign. Now, does username end with user? No, it does not. It ends with name, for example. So instead of user, I put name here, run it, and here we are. So we got the username back because it ends with name. And the last one is just partial match. So for the partial match, you use asterisk like that. And let's grab something else. Let's grab type password. So we're going to say type, so right here, right? And instead of name, let's do SW and run it. So it found a match in the password. So there's SW, it found it right here, and it's inside the type, so it returned it. Perfect. So partial search worked just fine. All right, so the next one is a little bit tricky because it talks about siblings. So let's go and inspect the text. The whole text right here, the whole deal. You see the text has couple tags inside that provide a different styling for the text itself. So Tom Smith is in italic and super secret password, right? Okay, so if I'll grab, say I'll go and grab just by H4, and I grab by H4, so I get the whole subheader, okay, the whole thing. Okay, so let's do H4, and then I do EM. Now I have two EMs coming back, right? They are siblings. So if you have siblings that, again, under one tag can't be inside two different tags, they have to be inside one single tag, then you can start using pseudo class. So nth of type like this, and then provide which one do you want. Do you want the first one? That would be, in our case, Tom Smith. Or you want the second one, and that will be the super secret password. So I can't stress it enough. It has to be inside one tag. They have to be siblings, right? If you have something like, let's say, was input, let's say form, and then input. So we have username and password coming back, right? You see they're here. But if we look into the actual form and we look inside to find them, to find the input, so you see one input is inside this first div inside the row, and then you go all the way in it, another row here. So you go one div, another div, and then you go into input. It's inside the form, but it's nested in two divs. Same with this input for password. It's also inside the form, but it also nested in two divs. So they're not siblings. They're not next to one another. They're different elements. If you use nth of type here, it will grab both of them because it will just grab any first element in the form. So it grabs two of them. So nth1 grabs this input, and then it grabs this input because both of them are the first nth types in its own div, right? Separate div. So I mean, I know it's a little bit confusing, but just remember, if you use nth of type, make sure that they are under one div or under one tag. Otherwise, you'll have a problem. So if I'll try to grab the second one here, it will not going to work. There's no second sibling in any of those inputs. When you have something like this, when you have the whole DOM and you need to select a specific element in the DOM, so here I just ran form input without nth type and it returned both of them again. So here you can use some JavaScript and just provide index, right? So let me clear this out. So form input, and then here you just put, do you want the 0, 1, which means the first one because JavaScript counting starts with 0. However, the pseudo class in CSS starts with 1, so there's a difference, right? If you provide 0 here, it's not going to find anything. So pseudo class counting in CSS starts with 1, but any programming starts counting with 0. So if you're grabbing by array, so you return here an array form input has 2 elements in the array that were found. You want to grab the first one, then you put 0, right? Again, because now we're using JavaScript here to count, grab the first element in the array, and if you want to grab the second one, you use 1. Okay, I know this is a little bit tricky, so you have to kind of type it out a couple times to understand the difference. But just to highlight here, if it's within the same tag and they're next to one another, they're not nested, they're siblings, and then you can use pseudo class nth of type. If it's just an array that's coming back and it just brings you all of the matching elements in the DOM, they're not siblings, then you can use JavaScript index 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on to grab the one that you need. In general, though, if you use CSS, just try to stick to stable locators. Ideally, you want to use IDs that are unique. If ID is not available, then your next best bet would be a combination of an attribute, a tag name, attribute name, and attribute value. Okay. All right. So hopefully this helps. This was Alexusadays, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.